okay, if all of these people that own these Airbnbs are going to get to the point where they have to sell, like that's going to put that much more on the market. Luckily here, we don't have a ton. Goes out there and talks about how it's doom and gloom, and like, yeah, it's not getting better as quick as we'd hoped, but it's getting better. That's the whole problem. Is like they get on, you get these talking heads on TV and they're like, oh, inflation this, inflation that. And it's like, well, yeah, but you know, the way that you're looking at inflation, the numbers that are going into it with shelter being 43%, you're not, you know, like you're looking at what shelter costs were 12 months ago before they came down. Like, so, right, because shelter topped out at like 13%. As an inflation number, right? It was going up 13% month over month. And then it's been coming down. And now we're down to 2. So instead of being at 2, though, we're at 7 because they take a 12-month average. Gas. Stop buying gas, Cal.
Well.
Shit, you take shit lady out, and that's fucking up my numbers.
Cal,
and now
people are stopping buying shit.
That's my whole
really,
point. And my whole point.
Buyers. I mean, what's the retail numbers came out, right?
That's what I was saying to Ben. Like the retail number came out,
But
you know what goes into retail?
How much of that is but how much of that is inflation? Because remember the
Yeah,
retail numbers were going up because the costs were going up. It wasn't actual goods of goods.
You're not
sold.
getting more goods.
That
You're
makes
getting
sense?
the same amount of goods for more.
So it bumps the retail number up.
And gas goes into the retail number. So gas prices going up fucks the retail number.
Gas prices have really been fucking all of us.
Yeah.
So it's not more gallons sold. It's just more expensive gallons sold.
And that's so shitty. Dude.
I'm a higher for longer.
Just
guy,
tell me a
which
good way to
fucks us
say it, Cal.
over.
Because that's my whole frustration is like we're sitting here waiting for things to turn, and like every third day it's a news story about how things aren't they're not getting worse. The Fed policy isn't working, and it's like, but it is.
Well, there's a lag effect.
The lag effect is huge. That's the shelter. On lag effect is everything on the shelter.
On average, once they stop hiking rates, so let's say they hike one more time in November.
Yeah.
It takes 11 months before they start dropping rates.
Yeah. But I mean, the circumstances are so different this time around than any other time around. You know, like I was talking to Peach and I was like, was 08, 09 worse than this? And she's like, no. I would take that back in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
But doesn't that mean it's going to be worse over the next 18 months is my question.
I don't know. I don't know where we're at in the time frame, like on the timeline, right? You only know that when you're looking back in the future. But like
Well, they didn't start cutting rates in 08 and 09 until we were in the middle of the crash is when they started cutting rates.
Yeah.
But that was looking back.
Yeah. So who's to say we haven't been in the crash for the past 3 months?
Right.
And just all of these figures that they come up with, and like the BLS jobs reports.
So how do you?
They're like, oh, job growth is strong. It's more than we expected. No, it's a bunch of part-time work because people don't want to pay for one full-time job. They'll pay 3 part-time jobs. The scenario that I keep like trying to run through my head is like, what if rates do get better and home prices go down? Is that even something that there is a set of circumstances that we can get to where that is possible?
I don't think so.
I don't either. But it's got to be possible, right?
It's got to be. The only way it's possible is if there are so many people right now locked into this 3% mortgage rate that they have.
Yeah.
And hate their house or hate what they're doing, that the market gets oversaturated with homes. And it could happen that way.
Can I give you another?
With people losing their jobs or layoffs or everything like that.
Yeah.
There could be a ton of homeowners.
That
are trying to downsize.
Yeah.
That will flood the market with so many homes that prices drop.
So the thing that keeps me up at night is like that video that you sent out, and he's talking about like how fickle demand is, and it's like, yes, demand is still strong relative to supply.
Right.
Demand was so much more a year and a half ago, and so many people are dropping out. It's just strong relative to supply.
Right.
So What happens if that supply starts to bump up and the demand stays where it's at today? Because rates have gotten a little bit better, but people are like, well, you know, I've made other, you know, commitments, or I don't want to go and buy a house right now because home prices are coming down. I'm going to wait for it to bottom out.
Right, I'm on a 36-month lease.
But my thing is,
I could tie the rate or tie the
my
Yeah.
like disruption argument to that is you just had this conversation with, you said Peach,
Yeah.
and she said she would take it back in a heartbeat. And we haven't even seen prices go down yet. And that's what happened in 08, 09, right? There was a ton of like foreclosures, and I don't necessarily think there's going to be a ton of foreclosures. But if we're not in the worst part of it, we're on the way up. And the worst part of it for us in 08 and 09 was on the way down.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So she's saying I would trade that back. We're right.
And she told me, she was like, I didn't do a single loan for like 8 months. And she's like, yeah, I'd take that right now.
Yeah, and I'm just curious. This time could be different. But what happens on the way back down?
I don't know. Because
What causes the way back down? It's usually job
what
loss.
what screws up the market, like on our end, our portion of the economy, homes, what screws us up on the way down? And that's what I don't know. I don't know what could get us there. I mean, I can come up with stuff, but I don't know, right? It's all gonna play out.
All these commercial companies are leveraged to the gills, and you should see the charts of the amount of debt on these commercial balance sheets that comes due over the next 3 years.
Yeah. If they're not in a position to refinance, like companies are going to
they're
go
at
belly up.
they're at 3-4% right now. They're going to have to refinance into an 8%.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And they won't be able to afford that. And then the other thing that you think about is, okay, but what about all the rentals? Why can't I think of short-term rentals? The Airbnb side of it too. That's where it could get scary, is if it's like, okay, you know, rates are going to start coming down, but all of a sudden unemployment's shooting through the roof. People are getting scared to buy. And then
they're not
all these
traveling,
Airbnbs,
they're not-
because I don't know if you guys have noticed this. My wife looked at an Airbnb that we used to pay $3,400 for a week, and for a week it was $1,600. Yeah. I'm broke, and I still was like, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could swing it. And I am like dead broke. So Airbnbs, that's the other end of it, that it's...
Well, Cal and I were talking about that the other day.
It's just like, okay, if all of these people that own these Airbnbs are going to get to the point where they have to sell, like, that's going to put that much more on the market. Luckily here, we don't have a ton.
No, but we'll feel some of that.
But yeah,
from the
exactly.
outside. Not as much, but